Harper Paperbacks and HarperAudio present What You Need to Know About Voting and Why by Kim Wehle, performed by Nicol Zanzarella. A note before we begin. Don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider or go directly to www.harpercollins.com/audio/what-you-need-to-know-about-voting. It contains drawings, useful information, and more, and will be referred to throughout as the enhancement. Introduction. The 2020 presidential election is destined to be one of the most critical races in the history of the United States for one glaring reason. It's pivotal for ensuring the integrity of our system of government. Consider the stakes. You might be rooting for a second term for Donald Trump, or you might be deeply invested in electing a new president in 2020. Either way, the 2020 election matters. If Donald J. Trump is elected to a second term, some will consider the office of the presidency in ruins, as having become above the law. If Trump is not elected to a second term, he could face indictment by a Department of Justice headed by a new president. Regardless of how one feels about Donald Trump, a former president in shackles would inflict its own kind of trauma on the reputation of the presidency and on the nation as a whole. The 2020 race is the first presidential election since 2016. Although people disagree on what to do about foreign assaults on our electoral process, there is no getting around two troubling narratives involving recent presidential elections. Career intelligence officials have concluded that the Russian government hacked into the email servers of the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. It then enlisted WikiLeaks to publicly dump disparaging information on Hillary Clinton in an effort to influence an election that should have been decided exclusively by American voters. Witness testimony and documents made public in Donald Trump's impeachment also made clear that the president inexplicably withheld military aid to Ukraine while asking the new Ukrainian president to announce an investigation into primary rival Joe Biden for the presidency in 2020. Whether you like Trump the man or not, we all must accept that this type of behavior could be the new normal for the presidency in the 21st century, using the power of office to stay in power. The 2016 presidential election was also the first in memory in which social media bots, created and manipulated by the Russians and other adverse foreign powers, spread false information to regular Americans' Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts in order to manipulate individual votes. American Internet users were targeted based on demographics and ideological views, without even knowing that the resulting information they considered in casting votes for president was falsely planted in their Google searches. Although former special counsel Robert Mueller completed his investigation into those Russian conspiracies in March 2019, Congress has done little to address the problem. The nasty Russian bots, that is, automated accounts that post lies on social media, are still doing their thing in the lead-up to November 2020. Note that, as a factual matter, this is not up for debate. Senate intelligence reports, as well as the Mueller report, document attempts by foreign actors to infiltrate voter registration and other voter data systems in a number of states in 2016. Meanwhile, a stalemated, polarized Congress has made little progress on other issues that a majority of Americans care about, such as health care, immigration reform, and measured gun control, just to name a few. The reasons for Congress's fecklessness are manifold. They include money in politics, gerrymandering, configuration in the Senate, the absence of term limits, increasingly entrenched partisanship, and a general lack of both courage and political will. There is a major disconnect between the needs and desires of individual voters and how our elected representatives are carrying out their mission in the halls of the legislatures. After the controversial and politically charged confirmation of Justice Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court, many Americans believe, rightly or wrongly, that the federal courts cannot be trusted or reasonably expected to fix what's wrong in American government either. For most Americans, the sole and pragmatic answer to America's problems lies, if anywhere, at the ballot box.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?